Hey, you're listening to WeebCast, the anime and manga show with your host, C-Dub, aka Maury, aka the Independent Variable, aka he's got another jug of water beside him. And today's episode is brought to you by the NBA Store. A new year brings a new start to the NBA season, so suit up in your latest NBA gear to show your support for your team. Look, we may not be able to go to the games in person, so we're sidelined from going inside these arenas, but that does not mean you can't wear your favorite NBA swag while you're watching from your couch. So we're teaming up with the NBA and Podgo to bring our listeners 75% off on select items. Yeah, you heard me right. 75% off on select items. All you have to do is go to podgo.co/NBA for up to 75% off select items from the NBA Store. The NBA, where amazing happens. You can already tell what I'm going to be talking about today if you're looking at the title. I actually talked about this show in my Winter 2021 Anime Ultimate Preview. And what I go over for the shows I thought were going to be the biggest shows of this season. And this show was on that made the list. Barely made the list, but I put it on the list because I thought it'd be a pretty big show based on just the premise and the promotional pictures. And I think I might have been right. I think I may have been right again, Weebs. But we're going to talk about all that, and a little bit more right after this. So, welcome to WeebCast Reviews, Wonder Egg Priority. Let me just be real with you guys. When you think of anime, you think of Crunchyroll. When you think of food delivered real fast, you think of Postmates. So, when you think of podcasting, what do you think of? Or at least when I think about a podcast, I think about Anchor. Anchor is the perfect place if you want to start your podcast. You can talk about all kinds of things. You don't just have to talk about some weeb stuff that I talk about. See, in Anchor, there's a set of creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right on your phone. It's crazy. And Anchor will actually distribute your podcast for you. It can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. All you have to do is just download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey, welcome back. So, to kick it off, we have this girl. She's staring at a dead bug, lying on the road, unwittingly blocking traffic, lightly angering a man, simply trying just to return home from work, probably had a long day. And then later, that bug lightly pokes fun at her in a otherwise really realistic dream. You guys ever had one of those? I don't know why I'm saying that. Everyone's had a realistic fun dream. God, Chris, stop being so dumb. But if your introduction to Wonder Egg Priority was seeing a promotional poster, one of which featured said the girl mugging at the camera while the other seeing her and her few others napping at the field, you might have thought, oh, this is just going to be some of that slice of life type of K-On type of show. You could not be more mistaken. Even on our end, what initially drew our eyes, me and Bo, to this production was simply receiving word that your local favorite sound magician, Dee Mouse, is handling the soundtrack, which could even uplift the worst of Drek. And Wonder Egg Priority Episode 1 not only proved itself decidedly not Drek, but the original Cloverworks production also overwhelmed us so thoroughly that a day after when I first watched the first episode, at least, recovery was still eluding my ass. But gosh, if this intelligently designed and maximized to be cute girl ops out of slice of life hijinks, just what is this show about? You're probably asking, but saying anything too conclusive about Wonder Egg Priority Episode 1 and 2. I'll be going over both episodes at the time of this recording because just the 2 episodes are out. So I'll be mainly talking about the Episode 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. But if you're listening to this to the show and you've seen episodes 1 and 2, get ready for some cool discussion. But But I should say there will be spoilers if you have not watched Wonder Egg Priority episode 1 or 1 and 2. But I'll have some spoilers, I'll have some spoilers, but like I said, I like to keep things so at least everyone can at least listen to it and enjoy, the show. So, but, let's move on. Let's move on. Instead, let's list a series of occurrences in the episode in order to convey the vibe, over the story. Sentient toilet paper bullies our main character, which is Ai Oto. I really like her name, the girl's name in this show. Bullies her into breaking the egg that she mysteriously is gifted. Another girl gets an axe thrown into her arm. Tears serenely flow out of the eyes of a statue onto the face of our protagonist. Someone asks someone else to be their best friend. School bullying is still a problem in Japan. Characters speaking frankly. Little CG devils jumping around causing a ruckus wherever they go. You kind of getting the understanding of what the show's about yet? No? Me either. But sure, Wonder Egg Priority Episode 1 throws a mystery a minute at you. But it does so with extreme lavishness, splendor, selling you one of its twists and absurdities out of the gate. And with a visual sense of clearly pulling from the a la Kyoto Animation and Your Name alike, every single shot is a chef's kiss of animation. And I shit you not. Near movie quality, like movie quality animation from the start to finish. Doubly surprising seeing that Cloverworks has 2 other shows, out in this winter season. So, like Akuma Drive's, Wonder Egg's color and movement just go beyond delectable and tasty. So fluid, stylistic, and it comes through with the plot so damn well. These girls just aren't moving well, but the very way that they move, scream, it was like, hey, somebody actually went out of their way to make this show great. It's not, algorithmically generated. That was the kind of feeling I get. Anime, particularly of the television variety, so often fails to take advantage of what the medium of animation can actually convey in a story. It's genuinely exciting to see Wonder Egg Priority Episode 1 fully utilize that capability without having to eschew an aesthetic choice. So these scenes are further brought to life with some particularly excellent soundtracking, which, if you remember the first paragraph of this, my first kind of opening monologue of this review was the reason our eyes landed on this Wonder Egg to begin with was Dee Dee Mouse's music here, and fellow veteran musician Mito of the famed Clambon, and the two add pretty much a heaping dose of vibrance to this already really lively creature of an anime. A bit more subdued, but just as beautiful as his solo work. Dee Dee Mouse makes this show sparkle. Wrapped in such luxurious packaging, the show forces you to accept it wholesale, even if at its most ludicrous and its most torturous. We're now entering the penultimate and the most critical part of the WeebCast Wonder Egg Priority Episode 1 review, mixed in with the wonders of delightful animation, the magical realist delights, and the beauty of the Dee Dee Mouse produced sounds is brutality. Not shonen style rough or tumble violence, but the kind that makes you wince when you're watching. Madoka, magical Madoka really did make an impact, right? And we're of the opinion of those brutal excesses work for the episode, giving some weight and increased stakes to the experience. But we worry future episodes could go a little overboard with it. We'll just have to wait and see. But some will already think that. So with what's presented in just in the first episode alone. But one other critique that I could not ignore
is that the first episode could have been an entire movie, to be honest. The show's chomping off a whole chunk, and it was a hell of a first episode. But pacing can ultimately make or break narrative arc, and when taken in as an incomplete work. So, but these flaws found in Wonder Egg Priority Episode 1 are less flaws outright and things to be cautious for in the future. Ultimately, it comes together as one of the most comprehensive, moving first episodes of a show, not from the last couple of years. And just looking at the show move about on your screen of choice as it constructs its lavish shots from a playground's worth of imagination, it really justifies your usage of just taking your time and watching this show. The animation feats, coupled with the drizzled, joyous sound design, hunks of juicy narrative meat, and spiced with a little sense of danger here and there, adding to the gravity that it puts on One Over the Top. In addition to the highly promised Neverland Season 2 and Hoarding Mia, Cloverworks has also decided to give us wholly original Wonder Egg Priority out of the goodness of their hearts. Aren't they nice? And it just might be their best offering this season. So, now I'm just waiting for like a Rad Wimps song to be thrown in there in the OST sometime this season. But like I said, definitely check out the first episode. It will do you so much good. And I should say, and I've already kind of hinted at it a little bit, that Wonder Egg Priority does have themes of bullying, like I said, bullying, suicide, and body horror. So if you're not really into those themes in your anime, then this might not be the show for you. But I do say, even if those aren't your preferred themes, and you don't like seeing those themes portrayed in anime, I do implore you to at least give it maybe a little bit of a chance and see if it might change your mind. But it's totally fine if you wish to stay away from that type of affair. So, no judgment here. There should be no judgment in the anime and manga world, which there are sometimes if you're on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram like that. But we weaves together will stick together and try to beat that away. It's 2021. It's a new year. Let's be a little bit nicer than we were last year, right? But I guess I should do episode 2 as well. But you know what? We'll do that. Just take a little break. Let's take a few seconds to breathe. Take everything in from Wonder Egg Priority episode 1. Refill on your water. And then when we get back, we'll start episode 2 proper. Alright? Alright. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to WeebCast, the anime and manga show. Reviews Wonder Egg Priority episodes 1 and 2. We're moving on to episode 2. And if you somehow reach this point of the podcast without listening to the first part, well, Wonder Egg Priority is a brand new anime debuting in the second week of the winter 2021 anime season. And unlike a lot of titles this season, Wonder Egg Priority is an anime-only series with no prior manga or other forms of media. That being said, this intense, thoughtful series about bullying, suicide, and dreams and friendship has made its mark already and is steadily on its way to becoming a contender for one of the strongest animes this season. In Wonder Egg Priority 1, episode 1, really took viewers into Ai's surreal, nightmarish dreamscape, where she found a new friend and ultimately saved her from her, unexistence. And while it was deeply touching, there were still a lot of questions, namely, how will Ai recover from the trauma she's experiencing? Furthermore, how many girls are there in need of saving? We just don't know yet, though we can expect at least one girl per episode. And with that in mind, Wonder Egg Priority episode 2, The Terms of Friendship, picks up directly from episode 1's ending. Viewers, we're kind of encountering Ai and our new character, Neru, and Ai is really attempting to be friendly. However, she's kind of been getting a cold shoulder from this new character, and her question is pointed, who is Ai fighting for? Ai returns with a simple answer, Koito. the girl she saved in episode 1, and her new friend. And this mysterious new girl remarks that Ai kind of tosses herself into danger, regardless of her own fears. She even remarks that she loves herself, indicating a intense, a theme of to jump into danger, unlike Ai, who has little self-preservation. Granted, that makes sense, though. Ai is deeply traumatized, especially as a child. She was still hurting. Still, there's a developing sense of preservation will be critical to Ai's growth, throughout this season. And after the gorgeous opening theme song, we return back to Ai, who's returning to home to find both her mother and teacher present. And gently they try to coax Ai into responding, but she kind of remains a little shut off, from the two, tucking her face into her knees. And it seems that for now, Ai will stay relatively shut in. School just isn't an option right now. And there we're kind of cut back to Ai and Neru, our braid-wearing girl, and they kind of strike a deal here and then. Neru will buy eggs on odd days, Ai on even days. And together, they'll utilize the best of them as they delve into different dreamscapes and crack more eggs. Only then will they start to work towards saving Koito and Neru's sister, and as well as the multitudes of other girls trapped in these egg white shells. Realistically, though, Ai seems a bit reluctant to crack more eggs, which is reasonable. After all, the Sino devils, those CGI little rascals, are pretty discomforting foes, to say the least. Yet, there's no invading her task, Plus, once her new egg cracks and releases another girl, it's, up to Ai to shape her dreams and hopefully save Suzuhara Minami from a gruesome fate. However, before any more action, we kind of get into a really heartwarming moment of Ai connecting with another girl her age. Minami, our girl of this episode, is a gymnast in her school's club, whereas Ai world has shrunk into the walls of her house and, occasional forays outside. Minami's world really consists of club activities. And yet it's still not all easy for Minami. Her coach often yells at her. She has a rigorous schedule and is pretty self-conscious of herself. She's even started skipping morning practice just to enjoy the feeling of the morning rush hour. And additionally, both girls share a similar longing for a friend, which I thought was really nice. And the last tidbit is a small, delightful pleasure. It's intensely relatable, easily understandable for its simplicity. And as soon as things get sweet, Wonder Egg Priority Episode 2 really sends some uncanny, uneasy enemies crashing in, and this time we have Minami's trauma manifests as her coach, who instantly sets into chiding her, emotionally worn out from her coach's constant screaming, yelling. Minami readily agrees that because she's not good enough, and she also agrees that her coach is right. It's painfully relatable, especially when her coach, in the form of a monster, starts to deliver some severe corporal punishment to Minami. There's a lot to digest in this Wonder Egg Priority Episode 2. Just like the premiere, Episode 2 could be quite heavy and genuinely painful. Ai's old trauma starts to peek through once again as we get more snapshots of Ai and Kyoto. The bullying still remains realistically brutal. Doled out in a way so specific to childhood that it stings like a fresh wound. Yet there remains so much hope in this series, even though it's ultimately, dealing with death, abuse, and bullying. That honesty is what's keeping me coming back week after week. And even though I know Ai has a lot to work through, I still want to believe in her. I want to believe in this painful, beautiful story as well. Wonder Egg Episode 2 was just as splendid as the first, if not maybe even a little bit better, introducing more new characters and taking us back into the trippy, disorienting world of Ai's reality, meshing dreams. Seeing Ai reach out for friends feels really good. Even though friendship is hard, seeing her slowly recover from the trauma makes us feel a little bit better. in the end, Wonder Egg Priority Episode 2 is yet another reminder that trauma is not the end, and that there's often a way through the other side. Even if it means that healing is painful, hopefully I will find our way through to the other side of her ongoing relief and trauma. Words just can't express just how powerful the messages that this anime is delivering. Truly, Wonder Egg Priority should be on everyone's watch list this season. And I kid you not. Like I said, you can watch Wonder Egg Priority Episode 1 and 2 streaming now on Funimation. I really do encourage that you guys watch this show. But I give episodes 1 and 2 both strong 9s, or about a light 9 to a medium 9 out of 10. Wonder Egg Priority Episode 2 is just another reminder that trauma is not the end. Like I said, there's always a way onto the other side, and it's going to be interesting watching Ai find her way to the other side on her own growing grief and trauma. The message is extremely powerful. And like I said, put it on your watch list if you haven't already. Because I don't think I will not think you will be disappointed at all in Wonder Egg Priority. Hey, WeebCast, the anime and manga show. Yes, you're listening to it. And thank you for listening to this episode on Wonder Egg Priority, a show that I think might be a very strong contender of one of the strongest animes of this season. And plus, it's an original anime. And I love original anime. So, I hope you guys watch it as well. But you've reached the end of the episode. So, thank you for coming on and listening to this episode. I hope you've enjoyed my review of Wonder Egg Priority, and I hope you guys watch it with me. Let me know what you think about the show. If you have watched the first 2 episodes, you can let me know on Twitter at Based Senpai, or you can let me know at Instagram on WeebCast TV, or if you see me posting on Reddit, let me know what you think of the show there as well. I will answer all your thoughts and questions. I always respond to criticism of the show, of this show, criticisms of other anime that I watch and review. And if you just want to chat, that's totally fine as well. I want you guys to feel close to the show, feel close to me, as the host. And let's just have nice conversation, have fun with our favorite shows and manga. That's the whole purpose of why I started this podcast. And if you like this podcast a lot and you want to see it grow even more, you can support it. There's a lot of ways you can support it. You can also keep listening, sharing the show with your friends and other people who might find this show interesting to listen to. We're close to getting episode 50. Next week, I think, will be my 50th episode, and we're getting close to the 1-year anniversary of WeebCast, now that I think about it. But another way to support the podcast is the Patreon. My Patreon at patreon.com/WeebCast show. The link will be in the description of this episode where you may be listening to this podcast. Also, as my Twitter and Instagram will be in the show notes as well. But just all you have to hit that link and look at the tiers, which tier you think would fit you the best. I have a $1 tier, $2 tier, and a $3 tier. And each of them have exclusive benefits, like getting the show early. Getting your own personal RSS feed, so you get the shows really early. Bonus shows, I have bonus episodes exclusively on Patreon right now. I have about 3 or 4 of them. You get to see behind the scenes of me planning episodes, thoughts going into the episodes. You'll even hear from Bo herself, which she plans to have her own bonus episodes on the Patreon too, so be on the lookout for that. And another way to support the show, if you don't want to, have some of those benefits and you just want to support the show monetarily, you can. There will also another link in the description. There is the Anchor, where you can support the show, and just you're able to just donate a cash sum to the show if you wish. I think you don't like a $1, $5, or $10, or I forget the options they give you, or So there's also you're allowed to do that as well. So thank you for coming out, listening to the show. Thank you for listening to my Wonder Egg Priority episodes 1 and 2 review, and I will see you next week with another episode, probably another review, maybe some more news attached onto the next week's episode as we get to episode 50 next week, which I am really excited for, especially for the 1 year anniversary. But like I said, thank you for allowing my voice into your ears, into your homes. I hope to see you next week. Much love to everybody out there, and see you. And I'm out of 3000. See ya.